This is video number 31 for cello players, and in this video we are going to be playing number 37 through 39 in your Essential Elements book. So have your book open to page number 13, but I gotta tell you, we're not going to do it the way the book tells you to do it. If you haven't noticed, I do things kind of differently. What you need for this is you need the dowel, the stick that I gave you. If you're one of my students, you should have received one of these. If not, and you're just someone watching on the internet, try to get something like this. Hopefully you did from the previous video. I guess you could possibly use your bow at this point, but I do not recommend it because it's going to develop some bad habits, and you have a very strong potential of it developing bad habits. So really try to get something like this. Again, I got it at a craft store at Michael's, and then I did have to cut it a little bit shorter. The other thing that you need is this tube. Again, if you're one of my students, you receive this little piece of PVC pipe with the rubber band. We're going to need the rubber band. Now, if you don't have that, this one's an easy thing to get. You won't have to buy anything for that. Just get an empty toilet paper roll. Now, I know people are going, ooh, this is gross, it's toilet paper. It's clean, unless you drug it out of your trash, it's clean. This is what the clean toilet paper was on, okay? If that still creeps you out, you can get a paper towel roll and chop it in half. But this works just as well, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to use the rubber band to put the tube on the instrument. I'm going to show you what it's going to look like, and then I'm going to show you how to do it, okay? And then we're going to pretend bow through there, all right? This is the end product that we're looking for, okay? Now, I'm going to use a viola to do this because I really don't want to try to hold a cello up to the camera. So what you should do is go ahead and sit down in your normal playing position with your cello up against you like this, okay? And then you're looking down this direction, right? You should look down. Here's your head up here. You look down and see the scroll. So I want you to take the rubber band off of your little PVC pipe here. Then you're going to put this in between the bridge and the fingerboard. And I want you to go slightly closer to the fingerboard than you do to the bridge. Don't put it in the middle, slightly closer to the fingerboard. Now, with one hand, hold it. With the other hand, hook one of the open ends of the rubber band around, and then you probably have to transfer your hands here. Grab underneath, see that? Get the rubber band, and then come around and hook it on the other side. So it goes underneath the strings, and then it's held there. And it shouldn't wiggle around too terribly much. Hopefully you have a good rubber band that didn't just break on you. And then you should have this right here, okay? Again, a little closer to the fingerboard than it is to the bridge. Let me show you again what it'll look like on cello. This cello, of course, has a little more room. See, there's still a little bit of space there, but still it's closer to the fingerboard than it is to the bridge, okay? Now, you're going to take your stick, your dowel, and do your good bow hold with your dowel. Drape your fingers over. Remember, middle joint, middle joint, middle joint, top joint. Bend your thumb slightly, but use the natural curve. And then you're going to be bowing through your tube. So, get your instrument set up properly. Put your stick inside your tube. Now I want you to have your your hand right next to the tube. Check your bow hold. Now I just want you to go out and in, and out and in. Just go back and forth just like that. Out and in, out and in. Now your tube should not be moving a lot. Watch this. Okay? Now you might think this is a very strange thing for us to do. However, let me tell you, there are two things that are really difficult about bowing. And one of them is not hitting two strings. And the other thing is going straight. And let me tell you, going straight is really quite difficult. Learning how to bow straight is really quite difficult. So this is going to help train us to do that. And that's why we are doing these exercises here, number 37 through 39. But again, we're going to do them using the tube and the stick. All right? So look at 37. Now look directly above 37 in your book. You see the little symbols, down bow and up bow? The down bow looks like a staple. The up bow looks like a V. Okay? Now, down bow is when, you should be seated right now. I'm just standing so you can see me a little bit better. Down bow, you're going to start your hand close to the tube and then pull away. That's down bow. Pushing in is up bow. So now go down, up with me. Right? Have your hand next to the tube. Good bow hold and go. Down, up, and stop. Your hand is next to the tube again. Try that again with me. Ready and go. Down, up. Now look at your book. Look at 37. Now there are not any real notes here as far as pitches go, but there is a rhythm. So we have quarter note, rest, quarter note, rest. And you see how it starts down bow? You see right above the note is the bow marking. That's what we would call that, the bow marking, the bow direction. Tells us to start down bow. When you start down bow, your hand is next to the tube and you pull out, okay? Now, you're not gonna have bow markings for every single note. They just did it for this because the bow direction thing is a new concept. That's why they did it here. Let's try 37. Now, let me tell you, don't get too excited about them calling this rap. It's the most ridiculous rap you've ever heard. It's totally Sesame Street rap. It's not cool at all. In fact, it's the exact opposite of cool. And number 38 sounds like some Native American chant to me, but they're calling it rap. 37 and 39 totally to me sound like Sesame Street rap. Like you can totally picture Elmo just like throwing down. It's hilarious. In fact, we're just going to listen to it for a second.
37. Rosin rap number 1.
This rap is just not even, just check this out. This is like, yeah, I totally picture Elmo and Cookie Monster out on the street doing their little thing. Okay, so that's just old people trying to be cool and failing miserably. That's all that is. But it's kind of funny, and so we're going to use it, okay? So let's try 37. So get your good bow hold. Put your stick inside the tube. Make sure your tube's in the right place. Okay? Good bow hold. Check your bow hold. Okay? And 37.
37. Rosin wrap number 1.
Check your bow hold. Make sure you pull out here. Out. Rest. In. Rest. Down. Rest. Up. Rest. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. And we're going to repeat. Back to the beginning. Out. In. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Rest. Up. Now I want you to watch my bow arm here. Remember, we already talked about making sure that you're not pulling up like this. That's going to cause you to go crooked. The tube, yes, is it possible crooked with the tube? Yes, but you're going to see it. That tube should not be moving. Yeah, it might wiggle a tiny bit. You probably can't even see on the screen that mine is moving slightly. But it's not moving this direction. It's only moving a little like side to side, just a tiny bit, like a millimeter or two. That's it. Don't let this happen, because then you're training. Remember, habits? This is a bad one. Okay? You're going to sound really bad if you play like that. I'm just going to tell you. So we want to train it to go exactly straight. Okay? Pretend that your knuckles are just like tracing a table right here. And they're going exactly straight. All right? Okay, now let's go to 38.
38.
Okay,
Rosin
good
wrap
posture,
number
good
2.
bow hold. Check it. 1, 2, 38, and go. Down, up, down. You should be out. Now go in. Now you're next to it. Now pull, push, rest, rest, pull, push, and repeat. Now pull out, push in. Down, up, down, up. I want you to freeze at the end. Down, up, rest. Don't forget to freeze. Down, up, rest. Now freeze. Your hand should be next to the tube. If it's not, you did something wrong. At the end of each line, your hand should be next to the tube. If it's not, you messed up somewhere with your bow direction. For now, every song that you play will start down bow, meaning you will start with your hand right close to the instrument and pull out. The first song that starts up bow instead of down bow is 116. We got a long time before we get to 116. Going to 39. Okay, good
39.
posture. Check your
Rosin
roll.
wrap number
Your hand
3.
is right next to the tube. 1, 3, and go. Down, up, rest, rest, down, up, rest, rest. Careful here. Down, rest, up, rest, down, up, and repeat. Beginning. Down, up, rest, rest, out, in, rest, rest, down, rest, up, rest, down, rest, down, up. Sorry, I said rest there. I should have said down, up. Now, in measure 3 is where most people mess up on that one. And it's not that it's difficult at all. It's just not what you're expecting it to do. So if you kind of got flustered at the end, it was probably measure 3. Or it could have been measure 4. You weren't expecting 4 quarter notes there. Okay? So again, at the end of each line, check yourself. You should be next to the tube. And for most measures, at the beginning and end of each measure, with the exception of one place, you should be next to the tube. So practice those quite a bit and check yourself. A good thing to do would be to record yourself so you can see if your bow is going straight. Make sure you set the camera so that you can see if you're doing it straight or if your tube's wobbling around like that. Okay? Because if your rubber band breaks, just get a new one. If you have the only kind of rubber band that you have is too long, you can double it up on one side. That works as well. But continue to practice that because that is what's going to train you to be able to have a straight bow. That's the best way that I can train you through a computer screen to have a straight bow is by using your tube and your stick. Okay, so keep practicing that. I'll see you next video.